Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Okay, so I'm going to do another Ceres read. I will either link it in the description or the comments. The video about Ceres describing exactly what pinpoints she ticks in the box of life, which is pretty much all of it because she's Demeter, aka Gaia. So when we are going through this, you'll have a better understanding of what particular role Libra placement has. And also in the descriptive box of that video is a link directly to a goddess placement chart. Anyway, so all you got to do is enter your info and then put find your Ceres placement, and that's going to be either in the description or the comments. Okay. Ready, set, grow. Ceres in Libra. Individuals identify nurturing with cooperation. Ideally, the mothering experience fosters a sensitivity to others and a positive attitude towards relationships. Nurturing is expressed through imparting instructions on how to interact, cooperate, and exhibit right conduct in egalitarian relationships. Self-acceptance may be based upon one's demonstrated ability to create harmony in one's relationships and environment. Imbalances occur when one is so other-directed that he or she places being accepted above a need for self-determination. So the chart example for Ceres in Libra is Paul Kazan's with Ceres in Libra in the 12th house, spent his solitary life nurturing the world through expressing his ideals of beauty and harmony. All right, let's do a read for Libra and Ceres. First, let me get a swig. Okay. I'm going to do a full deck read because that's only 2 minutes in. So, I'm probably going to have to go back and redo the first two I did because I only did the herbal astrology cards. Ceres and Libra. I did shuffle this and meditate on them. What's up, Ceres and Libra? How are you going to best nurture this moving forward? The Tower. Ceres and Libra. Okay, and then you've got the Nine of Swords in reverse. Stairway to Heaven. Five of Swords in the upright. Knight of Pentacles. And the Six of Cups in reverse. Okay. So, I might have just... We always tend to think of, like, especially using the word Ceres, that, like... Oh, the nasty lady in that Game of Thrones thing. Yeah, but there's the flip side of that, which is the over nurturing, right? And that's kind of, to an extent, what she does. She'll neglect, ignore, negate in order to go off and do her weird conduct, if you will. And then you have her coming back in and over nurturing, over indulging, giving them whatever they want because she feels guilty for not being there on a more consistent level. Okay, so that can happen when you do that mother thing in extreme. Okay, but we need to dial it back for a second and stop criticizing parents that are attempting, they're giving it a go. Yeah, they might be miserable at it at certain points, but we need to understand that, like, if we're expecting parents to be perfect, what kind of world are we gonna, like? Yeah, we can always improve and do better. I am so with you on that one. But when the society is constantly saying, why don't you do it this way? Why don't you do it that way? Blah, 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 blah. Why can't you be better this? Why don't you do it like that? Blah, 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 blah. Yes, it is good to find instruction and see for yourself before you become a parent what works, what doesn't work, how you need to conduct yourself, what best serves the child. And that comes to an understanding is that eventually the child is going to be their own person. And they need to have the freedom to become who they need to be. So there's this really, really complex and complicated structure that could have been dialed back into simplicity, saying, okay, so the child has this need, that want, and blah, 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 blah. When they're between blah age and blah age. Okay, so you fulfill those needs and wants. Well, this goes back to the whole reason why I started doing this reading is because the mothering thing is not being tended to in an appropriate way, because you're set up by a particular construct that says to you, you need to be this way and you can't screw it up. You can't have your own moment. You have to be a perfect person in order to be a parent. That's setting up a paradigm of people never wanting to step into that role for any rhyme or reason, because there's no way that any perfect person is ever going to exist. But yet, if you are not the perfect person and you are a parent, oh, you're the bane of all existence. Okay, so you you thought by over nurturing that this was going to turn out okay. And that's what a lot of people get wrong. There comes a point in time where the child is going to have to observe you being human. And they're going to have to observe you being not perfect. Because if they don't observe you being not perfect, when they run into their own imperfections, they are going to lose their SHITE in ways you can't possibly freaking imagine. And they are going to do some of the most wretched, awful things the planet has ever seen. So this need for perfection needs to go away. You need to screw it up. You need to do it, because otherwise how are they going to know what happens when things don't go right? When things go awry? When feelings come up? See what I'm saying? So my first tidbit of advice is, if you're not a parent, don't talk about parenting. You can talk about your own personal deep wounds and scars, but do not talk about parenting to another parent. Don't do it. You just look like a heartless, cold idiot. Don't do it. Number 2 on that list, if you want to come into this understanding of how you need to be mothered and being mothering, don't pick up any other tool but compassion. That's the only tool you need. Compassion for self, compassion for the other being. Okay. And this doesn't mean that, like, you know, you have to have like a plethora of children. You could have fur babies. Plant babies. Okay. This is how nurturing happens in the world. Through all of the things. You could have a corporation to take care of. Those are technically your babies. Technically. You have to look after those people. If you don't consider them other beings that need to be supported and encouraged and uplifted through their work day, then you're doing it wrong. You are doing it wrong. If you presume a leadership role, you're going to need to step into this understanding that these are people that are now your responsibility. Trampling them in the process and not respecting that they're human beings who need breaks, who need to have lives, who need benefits to take care of their families, because they are coming to work for you. This is Libra. This is Libra and Ceres, or Ceres and Libra. You come to that vast understanding of how all of the balances just, right? So, Faye. So, when we're, who's a love? So, when we're coming to those situations in life that might not involve offspring, we need to be presented with the example that it's okay to be one way or another at a particular point in time. It's how you handle it, right? So, Faye, it's how you encourage growth within yourself, how to bring about balance, how to. What is it with you? There, cuddle with him for a little while, or not. So, when we are presented with a tower moment, when it comes to try not to be so hard on yourself, and try not to like pick up on everybody else's opinions on how you're supposed to be in the world. I'm just locating what's happening. So if you have an understanding that like this is not ever meant to come to light in some sort of weird, construed, contorted perfectness that never has existed, that never will exist, you're going to bring it in a way that's going to turn toxic. I can't stress that enough. When we start judging and pointing fingers and shaming and blaming and whatever else, all we're doing is avoiding the inner work that needs to happen. And so whatever that looks like for you, that's what needs to happen. So if you need to argue with yourself or argue with others or whatever it is here, you just need to like let it take its course and try to keep your grace and your integrity as much as humanly possible in this process. And again, here's your Six of Cups. You're reflecting back upon this and you're like, okay, there's an empty box that I had located and it is now Sophie's and she's having fun with it. That's what that weird note is. So the Six of Cups is like you're reflecting it back or not reflecting back on how things were. And your Knight of Pentacles is probably going to bring that in slow. But your Tower moment here is something that happens to everybody. That just happens to everybody. It's supposed to happen. If there were no Tower moments, we wouldn't learn and grow. So this isn't about getting it perfect. It never was. It was never about getting it perfect. It's about getting to the honesty and the integrity of the situation and the person that you are and the person that you're, or the being, whatever, that you're interacting with. The integrity of the situation that is brought forward. That's the point. Not being the perfect doter, not being the perfect caregiver. It's the integrity of the situation. I'm a person with my needs. You're a person with your needs. How do we make this work? And sometimes it can be really difficult. Okay. The World in reverse and the Lovers in reverse. So you're just... Oftentimes, if we pair bond internally with ourselves, we pair bond better with other people. Okay. And when we pair bond with ourselves, sometimes we come to the conclusion that we're just it's not that we're not meant to have any relationships. It's just that we're not suited or maybe even have the desire to do that. Sometimes that's our Tower moment. Understanding that if you see yourself as having this war on the outside of yourself over being forced into pair bonding or being forced to this, that, and the other thing that you're not meant to, you can come to the conclusion, oh, this isn't for me. society has this weird way of like, oh, you need to stay under this little thing that we give you, otherwise you just can't exist in this paradigm. And you just look back at society and be like, okay, I guess I'm not going to exist there then. I'll go exist somewhere else. And this has nothing to do with vetting yourself off the planet. It just has to do with like living in a different way other than whatever the mainstream wants you to believe, right? So let's get the Tower and the Nine of Swords. The worst is over though. Yeah, you're keeping your emotional sovereignty. The Moon is in the reverse here. And the Father of Pentacles is here. This feels like a as above, so below type of thing. You're bringing it back. Well, there's the Libra's balance. You're working hard to bring it back into balance. You're being the overseer here. And you're like, okay, how do we do this? Can you get the Five of Swords in the upright? And the Knight of Pentacles as well, please. For Ceres and Libra. Ooh. Oh, goody. Novels. Okay. The Emperor in reverse. The Five. Yeah, I'd get that dude out of there too. So something was on the outside. And again, that's up for you to decide. So some sort of negative Emperor energy here. Like immature, abusive. Oftentimes Emperor in reverse is very overindulgent and very hypercritical, to the point where it gets abusive, you know. And this doesn't have to be, you know, physically. We can mentally, emotionally, psychologically abuse people too. A very uncaring, uninvested person who's just flatulently putting BS out there just to torture people. Okay. Hermit in reverse. Ooh. So this person probably was in and out, coming back. But you might have come into the understanding that when you decided to walk away from this because you had to get out of your hermit mode, this is what you're walking towards here. Then there's the Ace of Swords, mental clarity, the Son of Cups in reverse. So you're not taking any more messages of emotional whatever. Let's go. Three of Pentacles. I think you've already walked through the portal. The Two of Pentacles in reverse, that value structure no longer serves you, and the Daughter of Wands. So you're not getting on the emotional roller coaster ride here by staying off, which would be the Knight of Cups. And then you're not taking any messages or understanding how those messages, that immature energy that comes in, asking you to burn some things, but you're like, no, I don't want to do that. Because you've already been through that portal. You know what that value structure does. So you're kind of telling the whole thing no. Which is important, but your still inner struggle is coming to light again. Still some more. Okay, let's get the Six of Cups in reverse. And again, this is probably one of the most difficult placements to have because it is to be balanced, and the society does not support that. So the Six of Cups, I'm getting the Six of Wands in reverse, or in the upright, which is victory, and the Father of Swords in reverse, that's regret. Sometimes can mean denial. But it feels like a victory over that regret. Again, blame, shame, guilt, regret is there as an instructor, not as a life stamp. You don't go around taking your passport to all these countries to be like, well, I was an idiot and I traveled here. No, you get that as a badge of honor. And say, hey, I've been through this emotion. I worked through it. It was a good time. Whatever, right? Because when you're traveling through all the different emotions, fear, regret, blame, doubt, shame, Trying to think of what else you could be going through. Maybe it's feeling left out in the cold, feeling lonely, but I don't see you doing that. I feel like you're leaving people out in the cold here, or person, situational, whatever it may be. And you're claiming victory over this like negative emotion here, this negative entity, whatever it is. Nice job. Ceres and Libra, roots of the read. Let's go. Where are we at? Okay. We got this. Who was at the bottom? Okay. Ceres and Libra likes a novel. There's the sun. Choices, justice in reverse, 10 of cups in reverse. 4 of wands in reverse. Okay, so you have choices here. Okay. And you chose injustice, unhappiness, and not celebrated. Because if you did, yeah. Okay. So you feel like you, with the 7 of cups here, you're feeling like if you chose any one of those cups, some sort of injustice would come, leading to unhappiness and not allowing you to celebrate in your nurturing power. Like I said, this is one of the most difficult placements to have your nurturing in, because keeping it balanced for yourself and for others often comes with such hypercritical BS flown your way. That's what you feel like when you shine your beautiful little light on all your different options. You're like, yeah, but all of them are going to come with criticism, ignoring what I need for my 10 of cups and my celebration. So we're just gonna go to I can't change the world for you, Ceres and Libra. You can't change it. It's just, it is brutal, and I understand it, and it's not that you're at a dead end, but you're being wise about this. You're being tempered about this, I will say. Very much so. You see everything, and you're claiming victory over the emotion of whatever this is here. It's just, you see and understand that no matter what cup you choose, you're going to come up being criticized by one party or another, or all of them. Hibiscus, joy. There it is. Venus and Pluto. Let all the other BS crap die. Woo. Hibiscus, joy. Look at the hummingbirds. Look at her breath. Spirit. Expire. Latin word for breath. Spire. Inspire. Inspire. Expire. Ooh. Okay. So, 14 is the number. Upright is nectar, grace, sensuality, beauty, divine feminine, nurturing, creativity, abundance. In ancient Egypt, hibiscus tea, or carawcade, was commonly used to lower body temperature. If I butchered that, I'm sincerely apologize. Is to lower body temperature as a diuretic and to treat heart and nerve diseases. In Africa, it was used as a gastrointestinal healer, as it helped with constipation and liver support. In Hindu mythology, hibiscus is closely associated with the goddess Kali, the dark goddess of death, time, and change. Red hibiscus flowers are often presented as offerings to Kali, representing divine consciousness. In Mexico and Central America, it is called Flora de Jamaica. It has been used to make healing juices for hundreds of years. Primarily used as a tea and poultice, hibiscus has been used in beauty rituals, particularly as a face wash, as it nourishes and tightens the skin. Central American midwives have used it during birth and post-birth to tighten the uterus and assist with excess bleeding. Due to its astringent properties, a pulp of the leaves helps heal wounds and incisions. Hibiscus, ruled by Venus, embodies the power of the divine feminine, grace, beauty, creativity, and harmony. Venusian herbs are those that tone the cardiovascular system, reproductive system, the blood, kidneys, thyroid, and parathyroid. Hibiscus dissolves blockages in the first and second energetic centers, opening the channels at the base of the spine, reproductive centers, and lower back. Like hibiscus, you emanate the essence of Venusian grace. How could you not after this? You hold and cradle life. You are the nurturer. Your presence brings renewal and joy to others. Express your creativity to keep attracting this colorful energy back to you. Like the hummingbird, you are a creature of nectar, a conduit of divine love and joy. Reversed hummingbird may represent the inability to see the many blessings you've been given. Don't shy away from your power. You are worthy of it all. Follow the dance of the hummingbird journey into your sadness and know that this pain is just a thread within the fabric of joy. So again, there's laws of the universe, and the universe says that there's a pendulum that swings. Just think of this. I'm just going to interpret this in my own way. So there's a pendulum that swings back and forth. And on one end of the pendulum is this. On the other end of that pendulum is this. And you can swing that energy back, okay? So it's just a matter of understanding that the things that you focus on, you pay attention to, all of this energy that comes in from the outside is going to put you into this energy. Okay, this is why the vast majority of the planet right now at this current time, where are we at? April 2023 is asking for solitude. We didn't quite get it right in the sickness downs of the locks. And we're still needing to kind of process that, how to move and function in the new way, in the new structure that's being built. And this is how to do it. Regardless of whatever everybody else is saying, this is what you step into, no matter what the circumstances are. I don't care if you screwed it up in the history. I don't care that you might be going through some difficult times right now. It doesn't matter that this, that, and the other thing is hitting the fan. You keep that energetic sovereignty and you say, okay, I hear you, universe. I understand that this is all working out for my highest good. I might be mentally anguished over this. I might be very stressed out, overwhelmed, and whatnot. But I still understand that this is a growing process. I am growing into this new way of thinking and being. And if you can find your strength in your own sovereignty to pick up those pieces that everybody else wants you to discard because they're telling you that they're this, that, and the other thing, if you can become that whole sovereign entity, this goes like this. Okay? Because as long as everybody, including yourself, is free from harm, there's going to no longer be need to step into that negative paradigm. Okay? And yes, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but if you continuously make choices to say, okay, this is what I've been given, this is what I have to deal with, this is what I'm going to face, and I'm going to tick off those boxes as required. Okay? And until you understand that even though the world may tell you you're not supposed to want those things, or tell you you're not supposed to be this way when you're encountering this type of energy, flesh that out and realize that there's an outcome to a situation that you have control over, that you've been given to nurture. You have this precious thing in front of you that you can nurture into existence, or you can put negative things on and then have a negative outcome for not just yourself, but everybody else around you. See, this trickles out into the lake, the pond, the river. So when things go wrong and things come to a head, or if you want to say, or come to hitting the fan, understanding that there is a choice that you can make. Laugh at it. Make fun of it. Like, this is the weirdest, craziest situation I've ever found myself in. That person's behaving so oddly right now, I can't even. Okay? So, yes, it's an emotional situation, but you're keeping sovereign there. So that's why I'm saying try to make a joke with it, because your emotional sovereignty is here. You're keeping it calm. You're keeping your legacy and your beauty coming forward no matter what here. So I'm seeing on the inside, don't deprive yourself of what actually brings you joy. Whatever that is for you. It doesn't have to be whatever the world tells you it's supposed to be. I've read the book, The Languages of Love, or whatever else. I got left out of that. I got left out of it. I only feel this when I'm like learning new things, exploring new ideas, new ways of being in the world, growing. That's not in that book. It has to be service, things, time, attention, and something else that I don't resonate with at all, obviously. Not even close. What was it? Anyway, I don't resonate with any of that. If you give me things, I'm going to ask you why. If you show me too much attention, I'm going to be like, what the hell's your problem? What do you need help with? So I can make you go away. So it's an understanding that sometimes the things that are like being presented to you are not all the things. So you need to go on a hunting expedition to find your thing. Okay, so keep going. Follow this. This will bring you the thing that will bring you more of this thing, like a boomerang. Seek this, and ye shall find. Okay? I love you, Ceres and Libra. I hope this helps. Have a beautiful rest of your whatever. Lifespan, if you will. And until forever and always, keep your flame.